Hey, I'm Helen with Floating Yoga School here at one of my favorite parks in Kihei, Maui, a place I like to swim, adventure, explore, and work out. And today I'm going to guide you through a 25-ish minute yoga-inspired fitness flow. This one's targeting glutes, core, shoulders, total body, weight-bearing exercises. I designed this specifically for women in their pre- and perimenopause stage of life in mind, that 30s to 50s range, changing hormones, changing body, energy. I'm 41, experiencing all the stuff, soft belly, less time to work out, maybe less motivation, shifting moods, etc. But really anyone can benefit from this. I do have a bench that I'm going to use as a step-up surface and to place my hands onto. You can do this whole flow without an additional elevated surface. But if you have something stable and steady and you would like to join me, feel free to try it. Blocks, a box, steady shelf, couch, chair. Make sure you're not going to fall over. It's safe. And get your mat set up with that short edge against it. But you can do the whole flow without, so no worries if not. We're going to start today standing in the middle of your space, facing that elevated surface if you're using it. Bring yourself to about the middle of your space and take a moment to really root down. Feet about hip distance apart. Rock a little bit forward and back. I always like to ground and get centered before I get started. Allow for some stillness, root down into the earth. Feel strong through your legs. Lift through your quads, engage your glutes, but find that neutral pelvis. So if you need to adjust here, adjust. Engage your core, open up your chest, slide your shoulders down your back, and reach up through the crown of your head. Take a moment to pause, check in. Body, mind, spirit, what are you feeling right now? And when we think about strength, what does that mean to you? Not just physically. As you next inhale, reach your arms to the sky, look up. Exhale, fold forward, flat back. Feel free to bend your knees, relax your head and neck. Inhale, lift halfway, long spine. Exhale, hands down, high plank, upper push-up. Or you can drop your knees for a tabletop. And you're more than welcome to bring your hands to the bench already. I'm gonna start with my hands on the earth. And we're just gonna take little bends with your knees if your knees are not on the ground. If they're on the ground, think about engaging your core and your glutes and then relaxing. If you're with me, as you bend, really zip up like you're buttoning up some tight pants through those lower abdominal muscles. Try to turn on your pelvic floor and your glutes and then find a little release. We'll go for 3, 2, 1 more. Downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Feel free to move around here or enjoy a little bit of stillness. Next inhale, bend your knees, look forward. As you exhale, step or hop top or middle of your space. Don't hit your head on your bench if you're with me. Halfway lift, breathe in, long spine. And exhale, fold, relax your head and neck down. Inhale to rise, arms float high to the sky. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Inhale, reach overhead. With your right hand, find your left wrist, stretch up and over to your right to a little side bend. Bring it back to center. Switch hands, exhale to the other side. Inhale, back to center, release your grip. Exhale, cactus your arms, open up through your chest. Breathe in, hands high. Breathe out, hands to your heart. Inhale, reach overhead. Exhale, fold. If you've got the bench, bring your hands to your bench and step your feet back. Again, you're more than welcome to take this on the ground. That'll be a little bit more intense than where I'm taking it. And if you'd like, knees down, a little bit more supportive. I'm gonna adjust here. You can always take your hands to a higher surface or a lower surface. And we're just gonna take little shifts forward and baby chaturanga as elbows bend. So think about inhale to lift, exhale to lower, and find that position with your body where your shoulders are in front of your wrists. When you bend your elbows, especially if you're on the ground, that your elbows are kind of above your shoulders are kind of above your elbows, I should say. So I'll demonstrate if I have my knees down or if I'm in a plank, finding that little shift forward and then a lower. Continue like that as much as your body allows. Doesn't have to be big movements. For me, I find more control in the small movements, and you can always hold and find more of an isometric engagement. One more. Downward facing dog. Hands can stay on your bench if you have it, or whatever you're using, your box, blocks, a chair. If you're on the ground, this might look like a regular down dog, and know that child's pose is always available for you. Bend your knees, breathe in, look forward. Exhale, step or hop, come all the way up. We're gonna flip around. If you're not using a surface to rise up onto, you can stay as you are. Otherwise, we're simply gonna switch directions and find a little bit of a squat series. The goal is gonna be to tap your bum to your surface. If it's really low, you're not gonna get all the way down there, but don't think about releasing completely, a simple tap. I'm gonna think about exhaling down, inhaling up. You find the breath that makes the most sense to you. And I like to bring my hands to my heart as I squat. So I'm gonna exhale down, inhale, lift, and really utilize glute muscles without a hip thrust at the top, but a slight engagement. Really utilize hamstrings. I do that by pressing into my heels and really keep that zipped up shape through my low belly. So it's not that I'm holding my breath, I'm just using that engagement of core muscles, rectus abdominis, transverse abdominis, all those core stabilizer muscles around my spine to keep my pelvis as steady, supported, and neutral as possible as I'm kind of sitting back and lifting up. So there's obviously going to be some movement here. Find a little bit of heat. You can choose how fast or slow you go. I'm going a little bit faster than I would maybe in a regular yoga practice. Let's go for 3, 2, and 1 more. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms up, exhale. Take a breath in, lengthen. Hands behind your head, exhale, lean it back. Breathe in here. Breathe out, fold, keep your hands behind your head. Belly toward thighs, knees really bent, let your head and your neck relax. Hands come down, walk your hands forward. And then high plank upper push-up, option to lower knees for more support, more stability. If you want, I probably won't stay here, but if you want a little extra, you can place your feet on your elevated surface to add a little bit more weight to your upper body. We're simply gonna hold our planks. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Downward facing dog. If your feet are lifted, bring them back to the earth. Find that down dog with us. Bend your knees, breathe in, look forward. Step or hop to your hands, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Exhale, fold, release. Rise up, reach up, arms float high. Palms together in front of your heart, exhale. Take a step back with your right foot so you can adjust to face back toward your screen, whatever you're watching on, or simply listen. We're gonna turn our toes slightly out and take a little side to side lunge. I like, again, to exhale down, inhale up. You find the breath that works for you. I'm gonna bend right knee, hands to heart, left leg is straight, and then inhale up, then side to side. So I'm going left and right. I'm finding a little bit of a stretch through my inner thighs. Trying to keep knees tracking over toes. So notice the level of turnout, or the amount of turnout that works in your body. And you can probably hear I'm getting a little bit out of breath. It's good, we're building a little bit of momentum, a little heat, elevating heart rate. Let's even out sides, right and left. And then turn to your right. So I'm gonna face my bench again, finding a lunge shape, right knee bent, left leg straight, hands to heart. We're simply gonna move into like a split squat lunge. So left knee's gonna bend down and then straighten. And you can keep this more upright. I'm gonna think about really engaging my glutes as I lift. That opens up through the hip flexors, also creates that stability support. Or if you like, you can add a little lean as you lift to take a little bit more weight into your front foot, into those front glutes. So option to stay more upright, option to take that lean. You see I've added my hands. I like to fly hands back. I'm not too concerned with which breath I'm on as I would in a regular yoga practice, but I am still breathing, hopefully. And then if you want to add another layer, you can fly that back foot like you're taking a warrior three. Your support is here, so hands can always come to it. I'm also not counting or too obsessed with how many we're doing. I'm just finding a little burn. I'm already there. You might be there too. One more, and hold. So you might be in your lunge with your knee bent. You might be leaning forward with your foot down. You might be in a variation of warrior three with me with your foot flying. Release to standing, hands to your heart. Inhale, float your arms overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your chest. We'll take a figure four, both sides, sit in your chair. Left ankle over your right thigh. And then send your hips down. Hands can come to your surface if you can reach. Really let your hips walk back. Find a little stretch there. I felt more right hip than the left hip, so I'm excited for the next side. And then swap out your legs. Find that figure four shape. You decide how low you go. A little stretch, a little relief, a little reset. Nice. Come back to standing, arms float high, big breath in. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. We're going to step back right foot again. So I'm facing away from you so you can see a little bit different view. We're going to take more of a goddess squat or horse pose, knees bent. Hands can come to your heart or out wide in a cactus. We're going to think of lifting heels and lowering. You decide how high and low you go. And you can stay with your arms like that. You can find a little pulse back. Really squeeze your shoulder blades together, engaging your rhomboids, trapezius muscles. And if there's a point at which you want to hold, please hold. Please feel free to stay for 3, 2, 1. Hands to your thighs. Drop one shoulder and look over the other. A little stretch, twist, and opposite side. Come back up, arms reach high, big breath in. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Turn to your left foot, facing back toward your bench if you're there. We're gonna go into that split squats little flow. So again, that dip down and up. Think about engaging right glutes this time as you lift. If possible, knees over ankles. I'm not too worried about it as long as they're not moving side to side, but know that slower is going to be more controlled. Again, that option to lean forward as you lift, adding a little bit of weight to your left foot, a little load to your left glutes. I always have to check in, find my abdominal muscles that support. And maybe you play with the little floats at the top. Second side is always, or I should say most of the time, at least for me, gonna feel a little bit more intense faster because you were using both sides the first time. So they're probably a little bit tired, sore, already feeling it. Let's do 3 more. 2, make sure you're breathing. And 1, hold wherever you are. Back knee bent, foot on the ground. The lean forward or that warrior 3 variation, little fly with me. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And slowly release to standing. Shake it out. We're not going to stretch right away because we're going to do something else using our bench. So option is going to be to look like a march. Hands by your sides, knee up. I like hands to heart and then back. For some reason, the arms really help me. You can certainly keep your hands at your heart or hands at your hips. Think about engaging your core and your hip flexors to lift. Option to use your bench. your chair in front of you to add a step up. For that, I like opposite arm and leg, and I'm alternating. You might go faster if you're simply marching. You might go slower, more control. Don't overthink the arms. 3. Let's do 2. And 1 more. Even out your sides. Hands to your heart. And breathe. Stack your hands above your heart. Feel your heart beating within your chest. Thank your body for all it does. A moment here to pause. To come back to your breath. Really nice. And then we'll take eagle as a little respite, reset. Arms to the sky, breathe in. Hands out wide as you breathe out. Right arm below your left. Hands can find opposite shoulders or palms connect. And then sit into your chair. Right thigh up and over. And if you prefer figure 4, feel free to go there. If you've got this bench or surface in front of you, you can really send your hips back. Toes might wrap. Avoid the knees to the side. Try to keep them kind of pointing forward. And gently release. Stand tall, arms high, other side. Left arm below your right. Find your shoulders, connect your palms. Left thigh up and over if you like the legs. And feel free to use your surfaces. Get creative. Work into the stretch that's working for your body. And release. Float your arms high, breathe in. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Step your left foot back. We're going to come into a wide-legged stance, toes pointing forward or slightly out. And so I'm going to ask you to watch your knees, figure out what makes sense in your body. We just don't want knees too far in. Too far out's maybe not as dangerous, but kind of tracking in the direction of knees. So mine are pointing generally forward and slightly outward. Just like we did before, we're going to take this side to side. Option to stay, or option to add a little skater. So the opposite foot comes behind you. I do the same arm as foot that's back in front, and you can take this into a little hop. Maybe elevating your heart rate once more. Maybe low feels better. Maybe you see how smooth you can get. If you're not hopping, like you're holding a cup of coffee, maybe something cold, on the top of your head. Let's go for 3, 2, 1. Back to center, arms to the sky, parallel your feet. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Keep your heart a little bit lifted so you're not folding all the way down. Breathe in. Breathe out, bend your right knee, left fingers below your face, right arm to the sky for a twist. If this feels like too much, stay more upright. Release and switch, halfway lift, breathe in. Right knee bends, left arm floats. Find that twist in the opposite direction. And release it down. Hands to hips, inhale, rise. Exhale, turn to your left. If you're with me with the surface, you're gonna have it behind you. Arms to the sky, big breath in. Fold forward, breathe it out. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands down, step back, high plank, upper push-up. Option again to keep your feet on the ground, to lower your knees, and you can change at any time, or to bring your feet to your elevated surface. I'm gonna try, and mine kind of helps if I press into it versus come on top. So option to stay, or take opposite hand to shoulder, try to keep your hips pretty stable. That might help. It might help to take your feet wider. I'm gonna come down to my knees to start. Try to keep hips stable by engaging your core, drawing in your low belly, zipping up that pair of pants. Child's pose or down dog is a nice release. go for 3, 2, and 1. Lower your knees down if they're lifted. Press your hips to your heels, child's pose, reset for a moment. And slowly lift back up. Side plank, I'm gonna do forearms down. You're welcome to do your hands down or knee down. So knee down would look like one foot stepping back. Maybe you use your surface behind you to elevate your foot. Hand down will look just like that, but bottom knee will be lifted. Or if you're joining me, forearm down, either stack or stagger your feet at the back of your space. Right arm to the sky if your left arm is down. Lift your hips up, little lifts. Find your glute muscles, turn them on. Legs are strong. Top arm is lifting for 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Awkward transition for me. Maybe not so much for you. Find that lift and little pulses with your hips. Awesome. Release your hands down, knees down. Find a tabletop position. We'll move through cow and cats. Inhale, lift your tailbone, drop your belly, lengthen your spine. Exhale, scoop round, press the earth away. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Once more, inhale. And exhale. Find a neutral spine and then downward facing dog, hips to the sky. We're gonna move into a pigeon shape. You're more than welcome to take a figure 4 in your back. I'm gonna turn around and take a variation of a standing pigeon using my bench. You're welcome to try to watch. Essentially just that same pigeon shape. Bring your shin onto your surface and then the other leg can reach back. This is just a different variation, different sensation, different weight distribution, if you will. Sometimes I'll do this in the kitchen with my shin up on the counter. Breathe into your stretch. Notice where you can soften. I'm a little bit more engaged because I'm upright. I'm kind of holding myself up here. If you're on the earth, maybe you can release a little bit further. And as you're ready, we're going to shake it out and switch sides. So that leg can lift, release, shake, swap. Other shin forward or other ankle crossed for your figure 4. And know that we're not perfectly symmetrical. I know I say this a lot. You've probably heard it from me before. So different sides will have different experiences, feel really differently or could, and that's totally normal, totally okay. Awesome, and as your sides feel even or you're ready to come out, make your way out. Find a downward facing dog, any last shakeouts. You can use your surface if you like. Notice what else your body needs, is craving. And take any last shapes, any last movements, any last wiggles, stretches. I'm gonna shake out my wrists, roll out my shoulders, give my body a little let go, shake out. We're gonna find our way to a seated position onto your back. I'm gonna use my bench to sit. Final rest. I made a nice mess of my mat here. Wherever you end up, allow yourself to feel supported. If there's stretches you'd like to take on your back, a happy baby, a twist, you're welcome to go there. Same thing if you're seated. Give yourself permission to really finish up this little practice. And then allow yourself that permission to release, to relax, to let go for a moment, To know that you're held, supported. That even when things might feel a little crazy mentally, energetically, physically, that there's that wisdom inside, your own intuition, your body doing the best that it can to navigate whatever is going on, and that you can trust and have a little faith in that. You are more than welcome to stay here as long as you like. If you're ready to move on with your day, add some little wiggles, movements, fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, maybe a full body stretch. And find your way to a seated position, more upright. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Thank yourself for making the time to move, to breathe, to build a little strength. Hopefully you feel that. And I thank you as always for joining me, for sharing your energy, for supporting. It means the world. We'll gently bow our heads together in silence. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you back here soon, and be sure to go to floatingyogaschool.com to subscribe to my newsletter, follow along for the latest, and for more programs and classes.